What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? That clap hurt my hands again. Today, we have the Primary Arms SLX 1:8 by 24 second focal plane, low power variable optic, that's a mouthful. Swampfox 1:8 Arrowhead, same 24 second focal plane optic. In my opinion, these are two of the best budget-friendly, low-power variable optics, and I wanted to compare them. They're both very good. I like them both, but there's definitely some pros and cons. So we're going to go over that, and hopefully I can help you figure out which one is better for you. All right, so they're both second focal plane, which means all the cool guy hold-offs and bullet drop compensators and ranging features are only going to work on the max magnification. They're not going to, you can kind of use them as guidelines underneath, but they're not going to be exact. Now, the Primary Arms for $100 more is available in a first or front, whatever you want to call it, first focal plane optic, which means the cool guy hold-offs work at every single magnification range for $100 more. The Swampfox here does not have a first focal plane in this magnification. Some of the other magnifications I believe they do. They do have a less expensive option. This one here is about $100 more than the Primary Arms. It's called the Tomahawk. I wish I had one to compare. It's probably a better comparison, but I couldn't get my hands on one, so this is what we got. We're going to start at the back here. Of course, the diopters are about the same. Diopter is going to focus the reticle for your eyesight, and I don't see any pros or cons in that. Next up is going to be the magnification ring. They're both good. The Swampfox is definitely a little easier to swing back and forth, and it comes with a good sized removable speed lever if you want it. The Primary Arms isn't bad. I think it's just a little bit stiff. Maybe that speed lever would help, but it is definitely a little bit stiffer. Now the eye box, eye clarity, eye box, eye relief, and clarity is the next thing I always talk about. And again, they're pretty much the same. I don't see a big pro or con. They're about 3.5 inches away from your eye. The eye box is about the same. The Primary Arms may be a smidge clearer, smidge. I mean, the smallest of smidges, very, very slight, but for all intents and purposes, they're pretty much the same. One thing I really like about the Primary Arms is going to be the reticle. The ACSS reticles, pretty much all of them, I am a very, very big fan of them. This particular one works with 5.56, 5.45, and 3.08. In the middle, you have a horseshoe, and around that, you have a donut of death. The horseshoe is nice because you can, the tip of the horseshoe make very, very precise shots, where that donut of death and the entire horseshoe as a whole is good for very close up. Just put that on somebody's chest and let loose if you need to. Underneath that, you do have a bullet drop compensator, so if you're shooting out at a bit of distance and you need to hold off, the lines will represent different distances depending on the barrel length and the caliber and etc. So just read the manual, figure out what those hold-offs are for you. On the outside of the donut of death, and these two little dots you see here are also some holdovers if a person was walking or if a person was running. They're assuming it's a military-age man, healthy, with a rifle running, not some, 40-something-year-old man like me running. I'm a little bit slower than them. Off to the right, you do have some ranging features as well. If you want to put them on somebody's shoulders or check somebody's height with them, you can get a rough estimate of how far they are away and then use the bullet drop compensator to hopefully get some hits on target. The other thing I want to call out on the Primary Arms is going to be the reticle. When you illuminate that reticle, only the horseshoe and donut of death illuminates. It's personal preference, but I prefer for it that way. The less that illuminates, the better. The Swampfox reticle is I have to go kill a spider. I'll be right back. I am very, very sorry for that interruption. Like most guys, I am the official spider killer in this house. My kids are going to bed and duty called. I had to go kill a spider. Sorry. As I was saying, the Swampfox reticle is pretty good as well. It's not bad, even though I prefer the Primary Arms. It's available as a BDC, MOA, or a mil reticle, 5.56, 7.62, or 3.08. In the middle, you have a dot, which I like the dot with the donut of death around it. Same concept as the Primary Arms. Then you have some similar holdovers for distance. Again, the barrel length and the caliber will dictate those lines and what they represent. You don't have any ranging features with the Swampfox. And then the reticle, the entire reticle illuminates when you turn it on. And I definitely, again, I prefer the less that lights up the better. Just the dot, just the horseshoe. Maybe the horseshoe and the circle would be fine, but I don't want the entire thing to illuminate, in my opinion. Both of the tubes are 30mm, so it won't be a problem finding a mount. Don't skimp on your mounts. This is an American Defense Manufacturing mount. I have several Reptila mounts. Don't skimp on your mounts. Now, windage and elevation are a little bit different. It's going to be personal preference here again. Both of them are half MOA adjustments per click, and that's where the similarities end. The Swampfox is not a cap turret, it's a lock turret, so you pull it up to make your adjustments, push it back down when you are done making the adjustments. Both of them are very tactile and very audible, but the Swampfox, you can reset your zero back to the number 0. So you dial it in, you get it exactly where you want it, you unscrew this cap and bring it back to 0, screw it, tighten it back down. And that's handy one, if the turret gets bumped, you will know because it should always be on number 0. And if you are adjusting for windage or elevation on the fly as you shoot, if you're that type of person, then you know where your original 0 is, and it's easier to remember to go back to the number 0. That is the Swampfox. The primary arms are cap turrets. No, there's no caps on here now because I left them somewhere, but I promise they do come with cap turrets. Tactile, audible, half MOA adjustment per click, and both the turrets are very, very, what's the word I'm looking for here? They're both very, very tight, I'm going to say. So there's not a lot of slop in there. Some budget optics, you can really, really move that, and there's a lot of slop. And I find budget optics that have a lot of slop in the turrets, when you shoot, they move, and that does affect your accuracy slightly. So I wanted to put that out there. They both take a CR 2032, so no major advantage or disadvantage there. The primary arms has 11 brightness settings. It goes 1 all the way up around to 11, while the Swampfox has 12 brightness settings. Not a big difference there. But in between each brightness settings, there's an offsetting, and I love, love, love that feature. Now, the primary arms has been out for several years now, while the Swampfox is a newer optic. I have a feeling when primary arms comes out, they'll make some of these changes that I'm mentioning, but right now, it's not available. The off position in between each brightness setting is just very, very convenient. I could stage it in between where I want it. I can go up one or down one, and it's just a very, very convenient thing, and I think all optics should have that. They're both probably very close to being daylight bright. They're not like a red dot daylight bright, but they're very, very close for a low power variable optic. The Swampfox seems a little bit brighter. I don't know if it's the entire reticle that illuminates, and that's why it seems a little bit brighter, but it does seem slightly brighter. Now, the last feature I want to talk about before we talk about the pros and cons is going to be the field of view. Primary arms has 110 feet at 1 times up to 14 feet at 8 times, while the Swampfox is 122 down to 14. Again, slightly newer optic. Probably that's part of the reason it has a little bit better field of view, is what I'm guessing. They're both 10 inches. The primary arms is definitely lighter. It is about 3.5 ounces or so lighter than the Swampfox. So if the weight matters to you, something you should keep in mind. Pulling up the prices here, your primary arms, again, $389 is a regular price, $479 for the first focal plane. This particular Arrowhead is $489. Again, it's about $100 more than the primary arms we're comparing it to, so please keep that in mind. But they do have the Tomahawk series, which is very, very similar, and that one is going to be the exact same price as the primary arms. Warranty, they both have a great lifetime warranty. I wouldn't worry about that with either one of them. Now, testing, I'm going to do this really quick. This is my Swampfox. I've had it for a few years. I've shot it a ton on a ton of different rifles, different calibers. It's been good to go. I'm very familiar with this and quite a few of their other optics. Primary arms I'm definitely more familiar with. I owned one of these for several years. My previous employer had a few of these. My current employer, Roscoe Manufacturing, we have several of these as well. Not only do we use them for when we put on guns when we go to trade shows, we also use these. Actually, we have Swampfox and primary arms optics at the shop now. We use them for trade shows, and we use them when we go to the range to test barrels. We use both primary arms and Swampfox on those. So, pros. I'm going to say, as far as the primary arms, the reticle is dope. Love the ACSS reticle. It's about 3.5 ounces lighter, and you can get a first focal plane for about $100 less. Swampfox, I really love the brightness position in between, the off positions in between each brightness setting. Said it backwards. I don't know how much you guys care about that, but that is something that's nice. I like the locked, capped, and resettable turrets. That's pretty good. The magnification ring is slightly smoother, and it has a little bit better field of view. Cons for the primary arms. No off position in between the brightness knobs. Again, this is older, so I'm not surprised it's not there, but I would like to see that on every single optic. Cons for the Swampfox. The reticle's not quite as good, even though it's very good and very useful. It's not quite as good as the primary arms, and the entire reticle illuminates, and that's a... I don't use the illumination very often on a low power variable optic. I usually leave it off. It has edge glass, but when I do turn it on, I just want that dot, just want that horseshoe, and this entire reticle illuminates, and I personally do not like that. Overall, they are both very, very good. If you are going to get a budget-friendly optic, these two should definitely be on your list. If I had to choose one of them, I don't know which one I would choose. They both have pros and cons. They're both very, very good. I'm a huge fan of the ACSS reticle. It just works better with my mind, and I like that you have the ranging features on there as well. But either way, they're both very, very good options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put many affiliate links down in the video description as I can. So if you are in the market to pick either one of these up, hopefully I can find you a good deal. Let me also thank Swampfox and Primary Arms Optics. Both of them have sent me optics before. They've supported the channel. They're both really, really good to me, even though we're a small but growing channel. So their support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Swag! Guys, if you don't know, we have new shirts and patches. If you want to support the channel, that is the best way to do so. If you don't want to support the channel by buying swag, that is okay. I still love you. Just do me that favor. Like the video. Maybe drop a comment. Free, doesn't hurt. Subscribe to the channel, enable the bell notification. That stuff really, really helps me out, and I definitely appreciate it. I will see you guys next time. Peace!